Education managers urge parents to provide adequate school materials as third-term academic activities commence Monday. Christian clerics emphasize steadfastness and righteous living amongst followers of Jesus Christ. The Our Relief Organization Gombe calls for intensified support for orphans and vulnerable persons. Hello everyone out there, good evening and welcome. It's a pleasure having you on the news tonight. My name is Arkitoma. Stay tuned as I bring you details of the news. The Education Secretary of the Kaltungo Local Education Authority, Hajia Maria Mohammed, has urged parents in Kaltungo local government area to support the education of their children by providing them with basic learning needs ahead of school resumption. Speaking in preparation for the commencement of the third-term academic activities, the Education Secretary further called on parents and guardians to ensure that children return to school promptly, stressing that learning activities will commence immediately after resumption. Hajia Roma commended the administration of Muhammadu Inu Yahya for constructing modern school structures aimed at creating a conducive learning activities across the state. She also praised the Gombe State Universal Basic Education Board (SUBEB) for its continuous support to schools in the area. The ongoing renovation work at the Duku local government chairman's residence and that of the Red House in Anguan Katifa of Waziri North Ward, as well as the district head's palace in Butakeduku town are progressing steadily. The renovation work initiated by the outgoing chairman of the local government council, Alhaji Adamu Mohammed Waziri. During an inspection visit to the project, the head of works department of the council, Alhaji Jamilu Abubakar Alkali, expressed satisfaction with the quality of work being carried out. He called on the incoming chairman to sustain the renovation and construction of district heads' palaces across the local government areas, while urging political office holders to emulate the leadership style of the outgoing chairman by executing capital projects. Alhaji Jamilu also assured that the council will continue to secure government's properties across the area and commended staff of the works department for their support. Also speaking, the Secretary of the Council, Malan Mustafa Bopoyo, applauded the implementation of the project and called on the engineers handling the work to ensure speedy completion. At the various project sites, the head of civil engineering section, Malan Jibrin Abubakar Jubu, praised the foresight of the former chairman and appreciated the management of the council for supporting development activities. A philanthropist and renewed politician in Bajoga, Zakaria Jidda, has commissioned a borehole project aimed at addressing water scarcity in the area. The commissioning ceremony attracted community leaders, residents, and dignitaries, including the Emir of Funakai, Mohammed Koilanga. Speaking during the event, the Emir commended the humanitarian effort of Zakaria Jidda in improving the living condition of the people. He described the project as timely and beneficial, noting that access to clean water remains one of the major needs of many communities across the area. A representative of the philanthropist Noura Ashaibu said the borehole project is part of the ongoing effort of Zakaria Jidda to support communities with basic social amenities. He disclosed that the philanthropist has also promised to drill one borehole each in the remaining 9 wards in Bajoga to further reduce challenges associated with water shortage. He further stated that Zakaria Jidda also plans to provide a transformer to improve electricity supply in the area and enhance social economic activities amongst residents.
lalle ya ce a muku albishir mutane al'ummar kuna kai mutanen anguwan nan da dukkan mutanen al'ummar kuna kai daga yanzu a sani wannan aikin da aka yi na tonon bohol da amfani da hasken sola ba shine farko ba shine karshe ba yace a gaya muku cewa za a tona bohol irin wa'annan masu amfani da hasken sola guda 10 a fadin karamar hukumar kuna kai guda.
Residents who attended the ceremony expressed appreciation for the gesture and called on other well-meaning individuals to emulate such initiatives for community development. Beneficiaries of the 20,000 Naira financial support by Engineer Aliyu Mohammed Kumbat for small business owners in Kwame East and Aku local government areas have commended the philanthropists for the support. The beneficiaries, numbering 160 of them, made the commendation when the team of Velocity Humanitarian Foundation visited the 2 local governments for the disbursement of 20,000 Naira each to small business owners, including tea and bread sellers, pure water sellers, indomie and egg sellers, as well as akara and awara sellers, among others. Speaking, the engineer, who was represented by Babangida Abubakar, stated that the initiative is part of the ongoing efforts to improve the capital of small business owners. Our correspondent reports that areas visited include Duku, Kuragu and Malen Sidi in Kwame local government area, and local Gona, Gadao, Tumfre and Kuma town in Aku local government areas, among others. The Association of Traders and Business Groups in Gombe State have reaffirmed its commitment to supporting Governor Mahamudu Inuwa Yahaya in recognition of what it described as his remarkable contributions to the growth and development of commercial activities across Gombe State. The renewal pledge of support was made during a meeting owned by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Trade and Business Association, Alhaji Musa Mohammed Gidado, held at the conference hall of the Old Progressive Congress Secretariat in Gombe local government area. Participants at the meeting include Alhaji Sania of Granot Millers, Sadiq Abubakar Adamu of Vehicle Dealers, Alhaji Njuma Bonanza, Chairman Gombe All Market Traders Association, Butchers Association, and Chairman Aku Local Government Traders Association, Chairman Biliri Local Government Traders Association, Alhaji Mohammed Umar, as well as the Northeast Secretary of the Traders Association, Alhaji Abdullahi Marafa. They all commended the administration of Governor Inuwa Yahaya for introducing policies and programs aimed at improving the business environment, empowering traders, and strengthening economic activities within the state. The association noted that the present administration has continued to create opportunities for business owners through infrastructural development, market support initiatives, and sustained engagement with various traders associations. The traders further assured the governor of their continued loyalty and cooperation, stressing that the activities recorded under his leadership have positively impacted their business and livelihood. They all applauded the governor for the nomination of Dr. Jamilu Isiaku Gomna as his prospective successor, which, according to them, will consolidate on the gain of the governor. The meeting also discussed on ways to strengthen collaboration between the governor and business communities towards promoting economic growth and sustainable development in Gombe State. Messages of steadfastness in worship, prayer, righteous living dominated the Sunday sermon delivered by clerics across churches in Gombe. Prayers are housed Jericho Maitama Quarters bypass. The vicar in charge, Pastor Isira Kubellucham, called on followers to seek for God's guidance in all circumstances. He also urged the Christians to allow the light of Christ to shine through their lives and remain committed to God despite challenges. Pastor Isiaku Bello stressed that following Jesus Christ required sacrifice and perseverance, noting that believers must hold firmly to their faith in every situation they encounter. In a related development, Reverend Hussein Abba of Equa Church Ebenezer GRA charged Christians to always seek God's forgiveness whenever they act contrary to his teaching. Delivering his Sunday sermon, Reverend Hussein Abba also called on members to live righteously and forgive one another's shortcomings. He explained that God sometimes allows certain situations in people's lives as lessons for humanity. Similarly, the guest speaker at Equa Good News Church, Pantami, Pastor James Bitrus, advised Christian youths, especially those intending to establish ministries, to seek guidance and counseling from experienced Christian leaders. Speaking on the topic, counsel is the effective principle of ministry, Pastor Bitrus said guidance from elders help believers, particularly youths, to grow spiritually and succeed in life. Also preaching during Sunday sermon at the Lutheran Church of Christ in Nigeria, the guest speaker, Mr. Habila Ayuba, described prayers as the master key to solving life's problem. Mr. Habila Ayuba stated that God answers the prayers of those who faithfully trust and wait on Him, urging Christians to remain prayerful and steadfast during difficult times. And still at Equa Church number 1 Pokoli in Kaltungo local government area of Gombe State has rounded up its 2026 workers weekend with a call on workers to remain honest, sincere and committed to their duties. The call was made by the guest speaker, Pastor Linus, who was delivering a Sunday sermon service marking the end of the Workers' Week, urging workers to carry out their responsibilities faithfully. He stressed that diligence, integrity, and dedication attract God's blessings and favor, encouraging workers not to allow poor salary or difficult working conditions to affect their commitments to service. Also speaking, Reverend in charge of the church, Bitrus Obida, called on workers to remain dedicated and steadfast in their places of duty. He noted that commitment and hard work are important value needed to build a better society and a stronger church. Meanwhile, at Equa number 2 Popoli, parents were urged to raise their children on a solid Christian foundation to ensure a better future for society. Delivering sermon during church service, Reverend Abdusalam emphasized the importance of moral and spiritual upbringing in the lives of children. He observed that many social problems facing society today could be reduced if parents devoted more time to guiding their children in the fear of God. Reverend encouraged parents to teach their children and character, honesty, respect and obedience to God's commandments from an early age, emphasizing that children raised in a godly environment are more likely to become responsible adults who will positively impact society. He further advised parents not to rely solely on schools or religious leaders for the upbringing of their children, stressing that the home remains the first place of learning and character formation. And the Jama'atul Izalatu Bidi'a wa Iqamatus Sunnah in Gombe State has called on intending Muslim pilgrims from the state to pray for Nigeria and Gombe State during the forthcoming Hajj exercise in the Holy Land of Saudi Arabia. The call was made by the chairman of the State Council of Ulama, Sheikh Hamza Adamu Abdul Hamid, during the organization's weekly preaching session held at Jekadafari Sarkin Ruwa Mosque in Gombe. Sheikh Hamza said both the state and country are in need of prayers, urging citizens to continue supporting the nations through prayers and good conduct. He recalled that at the early stage of the Izala movement, the organization has no single pilot of land, but through sustained preaching and Islamic activities, it now owns several schools and mosques across the country. The cleric advised Muslims to remain committed to good deeds, regular prayers, and Islamic lessons in mosques, stressing the importance of bringing children closer to religious teachings. E. Hamza and Malam Adamu Liman, who recently passed away in Gombe, describing them as dedicated servants of Allah who contributed immensely to the propagation of Islam. He prayed for Allah to forgive their shortcomings and grant them Al-Jannah to Firdausi. Also preaching, Sheikh Ali Muhammad Bara urged Muslims to always appreciate Allah's blessings and focus in deeds that will strengthen their relationship with their Creator. He also prayed for the repose of the souls of the late Islamic scholars. In another preaching, Ustaz Muhammad Sani Muhammad reminded Muslims of the importance of good deeds, saying, whenever a person's does on earth will determine their reward in the hereafter. Similarly, Malam Magaji Umar emphasized the need for proper preparation for Hajj, describing it as one of the 5 pillars of Islam meant for Muslims who have the financial means. He noted that 3. There are rules and regulations guiding Hajj operation and advised wealthy Muslims to fulfill the religion's obligation as a way of appreciating Allah's blessings. The Gombe State Chairman Da'awa and Relief Organization, Dr. Muhammad Lawan, has re-emphasized the need for the society to consider the plight of orphans, considering the hardship condition in the country. The chairman threw the challenge when speaking to newsmen during the periodic meeting of the organization held at the Friday Mosque Da'awa Orphanage Home 23. Dr. Muhammad Lawan, who noted that the organization has about 2,000 registered orphans across the state, added that some are kept in the orphanage home while some are with their relatives in the town, emphasizing that the orphans are in their need of assistance from the general public.
Idan ka ji rahotannin da aka bayar na taimakawa marayu da aka yi, za ka taimako kaɗan aka yi maraya amma yana murna mai yawan gaske. To babban abu dai shine a ce mu samu taimako daga al'umma wanda za a ci gaba da taimakawa waɗannan marayu ba sai a Ramadan ba, taimako da za mu su a shekara gaba ɗaya.
The state Da'awa chairman further stated that the activities of the organization is to preach in local areas and teach other Muslims and non-Muslims the doctrines of Islam, calling for donations in terms of feeding, accommodation, clothing, and fundings. He also noted that over 60 women newly converts were given out for marriage under the organization, calling on those interested to contact the Da'awa and Relief Organization on the modalities and procedures.
Amma ba matsaloli masu yawa ba. Abin da yasa yake zama na ba sa matsala, wato sun shigo musulunci. Wannan abin da suke yi wanda ba na musulunci ba duk sun kawar da shi. Sun zo sabon, kamar wani sabon zubi ne. To duk abin da aka gaya musu na musulunci ne, to sukan yi na'am da shi. Kuma kafin aurar da su aka musu kamar wani course ko training wanda yake na kwanaki haka, na yadda za su zauna zaman gidan miji da yadda za su kula da yara da sauransu. To wannan training da ake musu to lallai na taimakawa, sai ka ga cewa wasu ma da dama suna cewa waɗanda za su aura din nan wanda suka shiga musulunci sun ma fi waɗanda suke cikin musuluncin wato iya mu'amala da kuma zaman gida.
Dr. Muhammad Lawan then expressed delight for the success recorded, saying the aim of the organization is to propagate Islam. The Secretary to the Gombe State Government, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar Jodi, has expressed shock over the death of a retired immigration officer, an APC elder in Kaltungu local government area, Samuel P2 Lantarki. According to a statement by the Information Officer, SSG's office, Joshua Amalam, late Lantarki died on Thursday after a brief illness at the General Hospital in Kaltungu. Speaking during the funeral service held at Equa John Hall, Kalargo, Professor Jodi described the deceased as a devoted Christian, peace-loving community leader and committed member of the APC. The SSG, who joined thousands of sympathizers at the burial ceremony, recalled his long-standing relationship with the deceased, describing him as a humble, patriotic, and dependable friend. Professor Jodi said he has lost a confidant and advisor who always encouraged him in service to government and humanity. He urged family members and sympathizers to take solace in God while reminding them that a death is inevitable. The SSG also conveyed the sympathies of Governor Mahamudu Ino Yahya, the government and people of Gombe State, to the family of the deceased, the Kalargo community, and the people of Kaltungo children over the loss. And with that report, we've come to the end of the news, but before I go, I'll look at some of the stories that made headline. You heard that the Education Secretary of Kaltungo Local Government Authority, Hajia Mayrama Mohammed, has urged parents in Kaltungo Local Government area to support the education of their children by providing them with basic learning needs ahead of school resumption. Hajia Mayrama made the call while speaking in preparation for the commencement of the third-term academic activities and advised parents and guardians to ensure that their children resume to school promptly, as learning activities will commence immediately after resumption. You also heard that Christian clerics have emphasized the call on followers to uphold steadfastness in worship, prayers, righteousness in their daily life. The call was contained in the sermon delivered by clerics across churches in Gombe during Sunday worship. And finally, the Gombe State Chairman, the Awa and Relief Organization, Dr. Mohammed Lawan, has re-emphasized the need for the society to support orphans and vulnerable members of the society. The chairman threw the challenge while speaking to newsmen during the periodic meeting of the organization held at the Friday marks the Our Orphanage Home, Tomfree. And that's the much we have for you on the news. Thank you for being there, and good night for me.